What's up everyone? Back again with another video. I'm trying to keep up on this every 2 weeks upload. We'll see how it goes. This one's a little bit different. So I recently bought this motor right here. It is obviously cone shovel, Delcron cases, S&S, 103 cubic inch kit inside. So it's definitely a big motor. It supposedly runs from the guy I got it from. But at the same time, it definitely needs kind of just some updating, going through all that stuff. So I pulled the carb off of it. The motor's in Wisconsin right now. Got it at a swap meet in Wisconsin. I pulled the carb off, standard S&S Super E, but this thing is in rough shape. So what we're gonna do this video is we're gonna take all this stuff apart, inspect it, replace some stuff, polish it up, hopefully. That's my goal, is to polish it, get it looking really nice, and reassemble it. So that's what we're gonna do in this video. I don't think there's gonna be as much talking as normal. It's just gonna be a lot of just going through this stuff. So in the meantime, let's get all this taken apart and get some stuff replaced. And before all that, get it sanded down, polished, looking good. As I'm gonna use this motor for another bike I'm gonna build, so you guys will come along on the ride with that. The build's probably gonna take a long time, as it's something that I don't really need another bike. I'm not in a hurry to build anything. So it'll be a process over, I'd say, the next couple years in regards to gathering parts, all that stuff. I have it built in my head, so I have a parts list in my head of what I need. Some stuff's easy to get, some stuff's hard to get. So yeah, that is that. But in the meantime, we're gonna get this carb looking good, looking show ready, so when the bike is fully built, my carb will at least look good. All right, guys, first things first, I'm gonna take the bottom off, see what it looks like in there. There we go. I know a Super E isn't like the coolest carburetor to use, but I'm really familiar with them. And for me, on all my bikes, they've worked really good. So that's just what we're gonna use. All these screws came out really nicely, which is a plus. Okay, now this thing should pop off. Float. Not bad. It actually looks pretty clean in there, which is awesome. The thing I haven't really seen is someone putting a spring right there to the push part. So obviously when you use these carbs just with a single cable setup, you just run this one and it pulls it, and your return is basically just the spring from this, or the spring from down in there. Or this guy, he put a spring right there, which is extra return, extra stiff. So I'll be taking that off. I'm not going to use that. I just thought that was kind of neat. I've never seen that before. Kind of a cool little thing that someone came up with. So we'll get that spring taken out. Don't think we're going to use that spring anymore. That thing is pretty cruddy. So got all this stuff, float bowl drain off. Took a little bit of persuading, but we got it done. So I'm going to take the rest of this stuff apart. I got a new choke, which is good, because this one is just stuck in there. I'm assuming just gummed up from just sitting around with cruddy gas in. Have a new air pilot screw, which is nice. And then yeah, I'll get a lot of this stuff taken off, polished up, looking good again. All right, so I got all the other parts wiped down, cleaned up, looking good, ready to be kind of I got little abrasive wheels, kind of like Scotch-Brite wheels on a die grinder that'll shine all this stuff up with and polish it. Next up is the actual carb body, so the bowl and the top body. So we'll go with this stuff cleaned up, ready to be sanded, polished, all that good stuff. So yeah, here's the setup we got. I had this little Milwaukee M12 right angle die grinder. This thing works so good. I got this little insert from Ingersoll Rand, so I can use, let it focus, so I can use Dremel bits. So I got a bunch of these little fiber wheels off Amazon. I'll put the link in description for this stuff. This one's 180. It comes with a 180, or I'm sorry, comes with a 120, a 180, a 320, and a 400. So that's what I'm going to be used to cleaning up this carb. I've already started a little bit on that backside, so that's just with the 120. So I'll do this along the whole way. I'll probably sand out some of these casting marks just to smooth everything out a little bit. And yeah, I think this thing's gonna work really, really good. So I'm excited to see how it looks. So I'm gonna get to doing this. So with a little bit of effort, it's already looking way nicer. I mean, I could probably just do this a couple more times and then leave it like that, and it just has the more like stock appearance, but we want to polish it. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna keep doing this. Not gonna bore you guys with it. And we'll come back when I'm a couple grits into this. Look at that. You can see the reflection of the camera setup right in there. I'll continue doing this, get it a little bit better, and then we'll compare it to, I mean, you can just see the difference, you know, pretty big change. So I'm excited how this is turning out. What I found is with how cruddy of a shape and condition this thing was in, with the corrosion and whatnot, just over years and years of kind of sitting around, I would imagine. These little like Scotch-Brite wheels work really good at kind of getting that corrosion off. So I'm able to see what the actual base casting and metal looks like. From there, what I've been doing is I've just been using these fiber wheels to really smooth out the casting marks. So get rid of kind of just the casting lines kind of all around it and just kind of get it nice and smoothed out. From there, what I found, it is really tedious, but this is the best way that I've found to do, is just sand by hand. I'll start with, if it's a really rough area, I'll start with 80, otherwise do 180, 320, and then basically, and then from there, I'll go back to these little wheels. That showcases if there's any deep scratches that I need to sand out more. So I'll get this all looking good with all these wheels, and then from there I will wet sand it I start with 600, then I go to 1,000, and then to 1,500, and at that point it gets to be pretty good. That's what I used, or that's the sequence I did for the bowl. I'm pretty I think the bowl looks great. I have no issues. Sure, it could maybe be a little bit better, but at the same time, you don't see a ton of the carburetor when everything is hooked up, but I did want it to be really nice. It is way better than what it was. So those are kind of the steps. So I'm going to continue working on this piece. Once I get to the point to where we start polishing, we'll pick back up, and yeah, at the same time, I am polishing and sanding all these bits and pieces as well. So it is a little bit of a project, but it's worth it in the end. Let's get back to it. We've got it down to 1,500 and pretty smooth all the way around. Might not be totally perfect, but it's gonna look pretty dang good. So time to do some polishing. The biggest thing is making sure this collar doesn't hit the carb, because then it nicks it and you kind of got to start all over again. I'd say with a little more time, that should pull a premium for Race Wars, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna get this thing polished up the rest of the way. Show you guys what it looks like. All right, guys, another project wrapped up for this bike that I'll be building in, I don't know, 3-4 years, who knows? But carburetor polished up, looking pretty good. I can definitely get it a little bit better, but overall, the thing is way cleaner than what it started as you guys saw. So I'll probably get some like metal rouge that's more of like a finishing coloring polish, but overall I'm really happy with it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.